Now let's talk about ITC. After you log into ITC, it will automatically take you to the single screen page for a brand new quote. This page is the home page of ITC. At the top, you'll find different tabs onto which you will only use one of them. The rest, our corporate office will use. Now let's talk about the tabs I mentioned above. When you click on Quote, you will see a list of different options to use. The Quote tab will be the only tab you will use. The first option on the drop-down box is called New Quote. This is another way to start a brand new quote for a customer. If you click on it, it will open up a new quote. The second option is New Quote from Template, which you will not use, as we default the template for you. Find Client is the third option. In there, you can look up quotes that have been saved by all agents. The next option is Save Quote, which you will use if you're done with the quote and want to save it and move on to another quote. Save as a new quote option. You will only use if you made another quote to the same customer and want to save both quotes until the customer decides which one he will purchase. Close Quote option will automatically close the quotes you are in. Close All Quotes will close all the quotes you have open on your ITC. Make sure you close all quotes throughout the day so it won't pile up and slow down your ITC. Your last option under the Quote tab is Quote History. Under there, you'll find a history of the last 10 quotes you made. It's a fast, easy way to go back to a quote. The rest of the tabs following the Quote tab, you will not use. Now let's start with a new quote. As you can see, the quote will start in the single screen page. When you enter customer's first name, last name, and address, a pop-up window will appear called Select an Address. That means that it gives you an option to select the address the system found, which is more precise, or if you want to keep the address you entered. Once you select the address you want to keep, click on Submit Selected Address. After you submit, you'll see another pop-up window called Pre-Fill Driver and Vehicle Information, letting you know if there were any possible drivers and vehicles found linked to that address. It will ask you if you want to pre-fill the information on the quote. This does not mean it will add it to the actual quote you are on. It means it will show you the drivers and vehicles so you can choose either to add, exclude, or ignore. If you click Yes, the first pop-up window that will appear will be for the drivers. Once you're done choosing the correct drivers, click on Pre-fill Added and Excluded Drivers. Pre-fill vehicle information will appear in a pop-up window and lets you make your selection on which vehicles you want to add on to the quote. Once you're done choosing the correct vehicles, click on Pre-fill Added Vehicles. It will then take you to the single screen again with all the added drivers and vehicles you choose to add, making the quotes easier and faster for the customer. Under Client Contact Information, make sure that you enter a good phone number and email address. This is very important, as this is how we're going to follow up with prospects. Under General Information, Coverages, you will only make sure that Insurance Score, it's selected under Average or Worst, so it can give you a better, more accurate price. Quote Details. Under this section, you must select the correct lead source, as this is how we can tell how the customer heard about us. This will let us know what type of advertisement works best for your store. You will also choose the quote description of the quote you are doing. For example, is it a new quote or rewrite? Next, you will go to the driver information. In there, you'll enter all the number of drivers you want to add to the quote. You must enter their full information under each driver to get a more accurate quote. If they do not have it at the moment, it's okay. We can still quote them. But make sure you let them know it's just an around estimate. Under driver attributes, you will enter the correct discounts if applicable. You only have to fill in information for the sections that are in orange. Vehicle information. You will enter the amount of vehicles the customer wants to cover. You can enter the full information. If the customer does not have full information, you can still give them a quote with the year, make, and model. But again, make sure you tell the customer it's just an around estimate. The rate may change once we get the full information of the vehicle. Under Vehicle Attributes, you only have to enter the purchase date, which is in orange. Once everything is entered, you will click on Rate Quote at the bottom in green. After you hit the Rate Quote button, it will take you to the company questions screen. You can leave everything as is on that section. Scroll down and click on Next on the bottom left-hand corner. It will take you to the carrier section screen. You do not have to do anything in this section. Just click on Rate Quote. That's on the right side of the screen in green. Once you hit Rate Quote, it will take you to the comparison section of all the companies we represent and their rates. Once you scroll down, you will see all the companies and their rates. You can sort them out by company name, total premium, and payment amount. Remember, we always quote through the third cheapest company. You can also select other companies which you think will best fit the customer. Once you select the company you think is best for the customer, click on Bridge. A small box will pop up and give you two options to bridge, one for the company and one for the agency matrix. If you select the company, it will take you to the company, and you will continue the binding of the policy there. If you select the agency matrix, it will export all of the information you entered to a new customer profile on Agency Matrix. If you bound the policy, you must go back to the same box and click on Policy Bound. This is so we can know you sold the policy. You must also go to the Note Bound section, which is located at the top of the quote. You must select on Policy Bound Yes, No, and a small pop-up window will appear. Make sure you select Yes or No under Policy Bound, and if you choose No, please select the reason under Reason Not Bound. Once you made the correct selection, click OK on the green box. It's very important you do not skip this step of the quote. How to look up quotes. Click on Quote and select Find Client. A search criterion will show, and you will need to enter the customer's information. There are different ways to find a customer. You can also search by dates. You can search for quotes that you have worked on for the past week or two and review them. I hope you guys understand the instructions and details given in this training video. If you guys have any questions, please ask. There are no stupid questions. Again, you can always call our agent helpline at 888-989-7122 for any questions, concerns, or opinions. Our managers and agents are here to help.